Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu editorial videos. In the morning these videos come, in the evening PIB videos come. Don't leave any lesson. And today is the 26th of March. A huge paper is there, 6 articles are there and a lot of facts are there, and I'm giving you many MCQs. So let's move fast, and these are the numbers there. You can call and you can ask for these pen drive courses by StudyIQ, and extremely important updated courses are there regarding UPSC, RBI, and NABARD, railway courses, SSC, CSGL, and banking. All these courses are available. MCQs that I gave to you yesterday: ECI, Election Commission of India's programs, sweep program is there, VVPAT is there. It is not E-Vigil, it is C-Vigil. So this would be wrong, and 1 and 2 is the correct answer here. Next, this statement is wrong because Bengal presidency was split into 4 sabhas. Bengal, Odisha, Bihar and Assam was also there. So that was also created, and this statement is okay that 22nd March is the Bihar's day, and they commemorate the day when Bihar was carved out of the Bengal presidency in the 1912 year. And you remember 1911 was the year when the capital was shifted from Bengal to Delhi. So only 2 is the correct answer here. Next, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. In detail, I explained to you this issue, and it got the presidential assent in 1967. So it has been in force since then. And next, Indian Accounting Standard, IND-AS. Regarding that, there is a small editorial also there. And as I told you, this is okay. Was developed by Indian authorities, and RBI was to implement it, but in April 18 last year, it postponed it, and now again this year it has postponed the implementation of IND-AS for indefinite period of time. And you see, according to the provisions, RRBs, regional rural banks, and the urban cooperatives, they do not need to implement this IND-AS norms, and all other banks, it is mandatory for them if RBI implements it. But till now it is not possible because RBI has postponed it again, and the reason is because some additional things banks need to show in their accounts, and if they apply this IND-AS accounting system in their accounting books, then the bad loans and their numbers, they will rise too much, because they also need to show some expected default credit accounts. So it may become a problem for the banks, and the government, they don't want to pressurize banks because of this particular norms. And this is the election time, and you see, if any kind of negativity rises with the banking sector, then it can become like a crisis. And already they are struggling a lot with the NPA situation, and these IND-AS norms and these provisions, they may rise this particular situation. So only 1 is the correct answer, 2nd is wrong, because RRB and urban cooperatives, they don't need to follow it. TB has a nexus with HIV, as I had told you earlier also, and today we have a huge article on tuberculosis disease. You see, TB bacteria, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, is there in many people, but it is not activated because these people are healthy, and till the time their immunity is strong, this bacteria is not activated. But when your body becomes frail, the immunity comes down, and in most of the cases of HIV, the immunity goes down very fast. And because this virus, HIV virus, is immunodeficiency virus, so these patients, they are highly vulnerable to the tuberculosis disease, and most of these patients, they struggle with the tuberculosis disease, and mainly they die because of it. So it's a very dangerous nexus of TB and HIV patients. So C is the correct answer here. International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination and Poetry Day, both are celebrated at 21st of March, on 21st of March, and 3 and 4 are on a different date. It is 22nd, it is 24th of March. So 1 and 2 is the correct answer here. Next, 1967, 6 days war was there, and after that Israel actually captured this Golan Heights area, and this used to be there with Syria. And in 1981, officially it annexed that. Israel annexed this part of Golan Heights of Syria, and now internationally no other country accepts this apart from USA. USA just said, Trump just said that it's a part of Israel, and Syria has vowed to take this back from Israel. So these statements are wrong. They are written as just opposite, because it was a part of Syria till 1967, and right now it is captured by Israel. So D9 is the correct answer here. Next, these are the words, and now about the articles. We are going to discuss this article, important for GS paper 2, GS paper 1, and it makes a very important essay topic also. And paradigm shift for TB control, very important for GS paper 2 and 3, because the issue of technology and disease is there in GS paper 3, and for the governance aspect, GS paper 2 would be important here. We are going to briefly talk about this particular issue of IND-AS norms, and where these accounting standards, which are actually developed by Indian authorities, but they are following the international system. There is IFRS system, International Financial Reporting System. It was developed by IABS. It's an institute in the UK, and it's a global system of accounting, and it's a set standard where, because there are many MNCs, because there are many business entities, government to government interactions are there, and mainly in the European countries where economies are almost integrated. So this accounting standard, it's a global system, and we have also developed our IND-AS system according to it, and we wanted to apply it, and some companies have been following this system for a quite period of time, but in the banks it has not been applied till now, because RBI last year in April 1, in the month of April, when it started, the new budget year started, then RBI postponed it, and again this year it is postponing it for the indefinite period of time, because as I told you, the problem is of the banking crisis, and banks would be struggling a lot if these additional restrictions are gonna invited by them because of the application of this IND-AS system. So that is why there is a headline of delaying bad news. Okay, so we will see many big articles on this topic, and we will discuss that later also. This article talks about democracy, its values, the election system, and how we create a just society. It is about that, so we will discuss that. It's an important article. You all should read that, because it's not necessary that we discuss that thoroughly, but the message from New Zealand that has been spread to whole world, that how they have reacted to this incident, and how they are showing brotherhood, psychological support to the Muslim community after this attack, and they are donning this hijab, and they are showing a solidarity with these people. So it's a kind of a message of peace that the whole world needs today, because the labeling is never going to help, and the revenge is not the answer. Peace is the answer. And you see many great examples have come on this particular topic, where the people who were victims and their relatives, they have actually forgiven the perpetrator, the person who killed all these people. So these messages are really necessary, although they do not suit to these emotionally provoked situations, and people are more in a mood of revenge because this world is frustrated. There are many problems, inequality is there, and so many issues. Always people have issues, so that is why they are not in a mood to accept peace here, and they all want to destroy the other one. But we need to understand that the destruction of the other is not the answer, and this series never ends. Ego never stops, and we need to follow the path of peace. So the message is saying that we also should learn from this particular incident. The whole world should learn from this incident. This article we are going to discuss, it is talking about the electoral funding issue. GS paper 2 is going to be important here, and this issue is about the ILO's report, where they are talking about the declining participation of women, and mainly the mothers. They have a certain advantage because they are taking care of their kids. If males are also given this task, then the workforce may increase, because most of their times this particular disadvantage which is there, because they are taking care of their kids, it is also the responsibility of males. but it has been there only with women, and mainly these conditions are there in countries like India, where gender bias is a very big problem. So it is talking about that, and you see it's a issue of society. GS paper 1 would be important here, because we need behavioral approach here, and we need some laws also. So GS paper 2 is also going to be important here, although it's a very small thing, but many more big articles are going to come on this issue. So we'll discuss that later. Now we talk about the point of having democracy. In this article, it says public policy must launch an assault on capability deprivation and rising unemployment. These are real troubles. You see, whatever we see, it's all a practice, it's all an effort by these political parties just to remain in the position. And anyhow, the political survival is the ultimate need for them, and on a war scale they are putting their efforts for that victory. And it seems like democracy is nothing, it's all about elections to these parties and for these elected representatives. Reality should be different. Elections are just a part. Ludwig Wittgenstein said, while raisins may well be the better part of a cake, but a bag of raisins is not a cake. So only elections is not the democracy. And where elections are also questionable, their ways are questionable. Election funding is really a problematic thing. In the last article, we are going to discuss about the perfect way where they have legitimized the secret ways of donations. Now the shell companies can also give funding to these political parties, and there is no restriction on these companies. Whether you are starting a company just 2 days back and you are giving donation to these political parties, it is all possible now. And they are arguing that we are becoming a transparent and a legitimate system where money is coming through the banking system. But actually, the way is less transparent now. So all these issues remain. And all these debates, all these agendas where they are taking the population of India towards nationalism, whether it's nationalism or it's the secularism debate. And in all these two issues, the main parties of this country, they are actually confusing the population. They are taking our attention from the real issues, and we are much more concerned for the cows. We are much more concerned for the anti-national people who are there in India, and how we can send them to Pakistan. And the whole debate has been shifted towards how do we show our nationalism, our chest thumping is there, and how do we make false claims. This is the age of misinformation perfectly, but we are not talking about the questions on these datas, NSSO's datas, why these right reports, right datas are not in front of us. We are not questioning that. The whole focus is on these less important things. The whole issue is there on the mandir masjid issues. The whole issue is there why we are not standing up before these movies when we are going to watch the movies in the movie theaters, and why we are not standing with the Rashtragan, why we are not chanting Bharat Mata Ki Jai again and again. So these issues, which may be important, but the bigger importance is there with the core issues of unemployment, agrarian crisis, the manufacturing sector crisis, and the false data or the misplaced data, and the data which is hidden. And that is crucial for our policy making, for our decision making, for the understanding of the normal public who had voted some representatives. So all these informations are crucial for these people, but we are not questioning on those particular topics. So the whole debate has been given to us as the ultimate topics, that nationalism is all about democracy, secularism is all about democracy. And you see, anyhow these things are suiting these political parties, and who are at gains. These parties are at gains because they have taken our focus and they have emotionally provoked us. And as this thing has been said by a very intelligent person, that anyhow they would provoke you, anyhow they would try to make you violent, and anyhow they would disturb the peace of your mind, and then it would become very easy for them to tackle you, to take you anywhere with them. and to take you anywhere in any kind of debate, so that in permanence your mental peace is gone and you are debilitated and you will never question about the real issues. So this is the trick that is being played on the people in our country, and our democracy has been constricted to these two issues, nationalism and religious or the secular debates. One party has donned this particular cloak of nationalism, and one party has been charming the secular character of there. And you see, both these issues, they are saying that democracy is all about these issues, but we can see both these issues in those countries where there are no true democracies. We can take the example of China, and Saddam Hussein's Iraq was also like that, and Shah's Iran was also like that, where there were no democracies. These were more in a way they are autocracies and dynasties, or maybe China's one party system where the socialism was also having a face of Chinese characteristic. So it was never the democratic feature. These things, they actually support and they suit these rulers, and anyhow people are fooled by these ideas, and they will never be able to talk about, they will never be able to discuss about the core issues which are crucial for their progress, which are certainly going to take their life to the next level. But there is a problem. That is why we as people of India today, we need contextual understanding of this issue of a democracy. You see, if we talk about this secular issue or the issue of religion, recently this incident happened in Gurgaon where people on the day of Holi, they started beating a person, and it was a kind of a mob lynching where very brutally they were beating a person, and fortunately technology helped there and they recorded the video, and that person was not killed in that incident. Otherwise anything could have happened if these technologies would not have been there, and the culprits, they are behind the bars today. But it is the issue of technology also that we are misusing too, and we are spreading fake news, we are spreading these emotional provocations, and anyhow we are distracting people, we are confusing these people by our agendas. So we need to think about this issue holistically. Nationalism or national pride has shown itself to be a means to establish Hindu majoritarian rule that has been seen in India for quite some time. So we will not delve into the party's issues because it is a political one and not important for us from the exam point of view. But what is important for us, that these are democratic values and these are democratic issues which are being confused today. Andre Malraux once asked Nehru that what are your biggest challenges? Then Nehru said, creating a just state by just means and creating a secular state in a religious country. And the meaning of secular is also specific here. Means in the Western countries, secularism means the religion, the church and the state, they are different issues. They are separated. But in India, the definition that we went by according to the constitution, that we would not support any particular religion. There would not be any state religion in this country. Okay. And the mood of this country, the way we are going in this democratic phase, and the kind of ways, the way we are appreciating violence here, the way we are appreciating revenge here, and even the highest level of people, these ministers and all, they are spreading these messages of revenge and all. So here we are totally going against the values of constitution, and we are posing majority. We are trying to woo people on the basis of religion, on the basis of majoritarian system, and that is totally against our basic ideals of the constitution. So it says that just society must seem far away to these Indians today, but a just society by just means is no longer a pipe dream. Means when 1% people are having more than 50% of the wealth, then it is totally possible that we can give decent life to the 50% poor people who are living in living a condition in their life that is totally hand to mouth, and it's not a surety that next day they would survive or not, and they would have food to eat or not. So these people should have been given a decent life, but the inequality is propagating, and it is totally supported by this flawed system of democracy. It's not a true democracy, it's a flawed democracy today that we are living in, and we are not understanding the things that can support us and things that can destroy this democracy. So what do we need today? We need to launch an assault on the capability deprivation, and we need to improve the capability. If we talk about these poor people who are living in these inhumane conditions, and that is why so many suicides are there. These people, look at, just think about their lives, think about their days, how they are spending. They are living a life of depression, and that is why suicides, they are so common, because these are depressed people. If we understand the situation, they are uneducated. Mostly, if they are educated, there is no meaning of their education. They are just having a degree, but no proper understanding of the education, no proper understanding of any subject or anything that is going around. And next, no opportunities, unemployment. So in these conditions, what they are going to do, it's totally a condition of capability deprivation. We need to rightly educate them, we need to give a skilling support, and then we need to provide them some decent jobs, and then they will come out, and then it can become a true democracy. Otherwise it will no longer be a democracy. You suppose a condition, a very much well-off person has a single vote power, but the people who are begging on the streets, they are also having the same voting power. Ideally, if we go by the theory, then it's a very much good thing that all people are equal. But in a true sense, you just understand this issue. Is this a true democracy? The intellectual level is totally different of these two people. Can that beggar judge the ongoing democratic system, ongoing working of the parties? Can that person understand that? No. So it does not mean that we end the equal voting power of all the people. We need to lift the beggar there, and we need to make his life a decent one, so that it can participate actively and positively in the democracy. Otherwise there is no value of that person's vote, and it is anyhow would be exploited. So that's the issue. And jobs are an issue, and that is why these data on jobs are the bigger issue here. And amateurish economic management is responsible for the rising employment. That is true, and if they fail to take the country there, they must assume responsibility. So we need to understand these responsibilities also. Next, paradigm shift for TB control. As I told you, it's a bacterial disease, very infectious disease. The bacteria, they are spread through air. When we breathe, when we sneeze, when we cough, then these droplets, they can enter in air, and they can reach up to some person's body when they are going to inhale air. So infectious this disease is, and that is why the writer says that this is nearly impossible to end it by 2025. And rhetorics are all there. We on all the platforms, by all the officials, all the authorities, all the ministers, prime ministers, everyone is saying that we are going to end TB by 2025. Our achievements are really great, but the reality is, and here the truth should come out. It is not about the negativity. It is not negativity. It is talking about the truth and the data. That mortality rate certainly has come down. Since in 1962 we started the national TB program. After that we started vaccination, the BCG, Bacillus Calmette urine vaccine, and then the expanded immunization was there since 1978. In 1990s we started a revised national TB control program. So all these steps, they have actually helped to control the mortality rate, and very less people are dying today. But the control and the prevention of that tuberculosis disease, that is not possible till now. And you see, the bigger danger is there now. We are not dealing with a simple TB issue. We are dealing with the multi-drug resistant TB issue, and we don't have many answers to this disease, because the the particular treatments and these antibiotics, they are failing. The first line drugs, they are failed. Second line, third line drugs are being developed, and they are available in very less number. So we need to take all these things holistically, because we need to take care about the issue of hygiene. We need to take care about the issue of rapid urbanization, because these ghettos which are there and the urban poor, the kind of conditions in their living, they are totally supportive of this disease. The humid, moist environment and totally clogged air, and people are living in a very small rooms. Many people in a single room. All kids are sleeping with each other. So the spread of this disease is totally favorable, and it's a highly contagious disease. So it is very difficult that without managing the urbanization issue, we can tackle on the TB disease. It is not possible. So this issue and awareness, education, the war scale efforts are needed for the TB awareness, because we are not only having the aim that mortality should come down. We are having the aim of controlling TB. These are programs to control TB. So the prevention and the treatment is not the prevention. Prevention is essential for control. So we need to go towards prevention here, and all these issues should be taken care of if we talk about the prevention here. Here the writer is giving the example of Tiruvannamalai, where they are starting with the public-private participation mode. With this particular method, they had eradicated polio also in 1988, 1990. They eliminated polio using the inactivated polio vaccine, and on a war scale they put their efforts, and many great and positive results in the healthcare sector are there in Tamil Nadu and in the state of Kerala. They are setting examples here. So this issue can also be tackled here in a positive manner, and the model they are applying, that can be copied in all other states. Pulmonary TB, you see, TB is there in glands, TB is there in the bones, TB is there in your stomach, and TB can be there in your lungs. Pulmonary and extrapulmonary both. So there are various types, but the pulmonary TB, because we breathe, so pulmonary TB is the biggest reason of spreading the disease, and this is how the pulmonary TB becomes contagious. So if we can tackle pulmonary TB here, then we can control TB too much, and to a very great extent we will be able to prevent this disease from spreading to other people. And diagnosis is the big issue. You see, TST, tuberculin skin test is there, because the infection is silent. Maybe the people are not diseased. So this testing can be done on school children. If they are diagnosed with this particular bacteria, then there are possibilities that there are adult cases in their families also, the TB. So they all will be registered and the treatment can be started. And this is how we can take steps to prevention here. So innovative ways we need to find here. An annual TST positive rate provides an objective measure of annual infection frequency for plotting the control trajectory, because both in the disease of TB and HIV, the issue is there of the diagnosis, that many people, they are not diagnosed and they don't know the actual status. Maybe they are struggling with it, but they don't know about it, and they are taking medicines for some other purpose. So this thing should not be there. And the new testings like cartridge based nucleic acid amplification test, CBNAT. So these are very important, and these labs, their numbers are around 1100 right now in the country, that I told you in the last PIB lesson. So they should also be increased. Okay, so these kind of steps we can take, and rhetorics and declarations cannot control TB. You see, in 2019 slogan was given to take TB control seriously, and we are united to end TB, and our Prime Minister also said that we are gonna end TB by 2025. So these things are not possible today. We cannot end TB by 2025 by all means, whatever we do today, but it would be a sign of victory if we can take TB on a declining phase. If this curve can go towards a declining path, then it is also going to be a win-win situation, because this is the best that can be done today. But with the steps that the kind of steps we are taking today, less than 1% is our health budget of GDP. So in these conditions, if we can manage to take TB on a declining path, that would also be a victory. So we need to take care about all these issues. Next topic is regarding the secret donations. You see, they started by amending these acts, Finance Act, and they amended RBI Act, they amended Income Tax Act, they amended People's Act 1951, RPA Act, and Companies Act. And by that, in 2017, they started these election bond system. And through SBI, all people can donate to these parties, and all these things would be secretive. That is the biggest problem, because any judicially artificial body can give donation to parties. Only SBI would be able to know about that. That means if we can say that the CBI is working as a parrot of the ruling government, then what about the SBI? Cannot they take these data from SBI? Officially, we will not say that, but practically these things are not impossible. Okay. So, a ruling party in a way can take advantage here if they work in a corrupt manner, if they work. Okay. So, normal public would be aloof from these donations, that who is giving donation to whom. Maybe some companies and all, they are supporting a particular party, they are giving them thousands of crores of rupees, because we don't know how much they are giving and whom they are giving. And maybe they are trying to woo these political parties, so that when they will come in, they will form the government, then they will make policies according to them. So this thing becomes very much crucial for us to know, and these things should be there in the public domain, that who is giving donation to whom and how much they are giving donation. After these provisions, after these election bond provisions, foreign funding is also possible. Funding from the shell companies is also possible, because they have removed the condition that any company should have at least 3 years experience, and after that it can only give donation. But now it is possible. If you are starting a company, if you are starting a shell company 10 days back, you can give funding to these political parties, but that would come through the way of banking system and through the way of election bonds. So it's a problematic thing. And you see, these parties, they would have to encash these within 15 days. That is the norm here, and restrictions are put here, but these are not going to help. In reality, they have made this particular system much more opaque than it was there earlier. If we compare both these things, whether they are arguing that we are legitimating the donation issue when it is coming through the banking system, but in reality, if we are comparing the earlier ways and this election bond system, they have actually made this system much more opaque now. Okay. So this is a important issue. This is an important issue, and discussions should be there regarding that. Nobody is talking about this election funding, and this is the most important issue of the day. This is the election season. MCC is there, so we should talk about the election funding. But nobody is talking about that. They are all running their propagandas, and they all are involved in manipulating the voters. They are running agendas, open agendas, propagandas, and we are not able to do anything regarding that, and nobody is talking about the election funding. So this article is very, very important here. Next, one more important point which was made here by the writer. When central government in its affidavit further argued that the right to keep the identity of the donor private was an extension of their right to vote, means right to vote is equal to right to secretly donating also, means they are equating these two things. And here, as I told you, maybe shell companies are allowed, maybe black money is routed here, maybe some funding is coming from some illegitimate source. We don't know, only bank knows about that. So these things are necessary to know by the public, and here they are equating both these rights, means the right to vote is equal to this particular right to maintain secrecy in donation. How this thing is justified? And you see who is saying that? Central government is saying that. They are actually submitting this affidavit. So it's a problematic thing. Means it's a logical thing that these things cannot be equated like that. And the right to donate privately cannot be the extension of the right to vote. These are two different things, because donations in India, you see, this would have been a country like Norway, Sweden or Finland, where things are much more transparent. People are very less, and parties are not running these kind of election campaigns. Thousands of crores of rupees are not invested there. It is India, and here there is no dearth of these fundings, and thousands of crores of rupees we see they are wasted in these election campaignings. That is why this becomes much more important that we should know about these fundings, from where this money is coming. So that is the context, and that is the reason here. Next, PSLV C45. It would be the next spacecraft which is going to be sent by PSLV C45, that is EMISAT mission, and the name is EMISAT for this spacecraft. And you see, this is first time when IIST, Indian Institute of Science and Technology, they are achieving a milestone, and one spacecraft, that is analyzer for ionospheric studies, that is being there on this PSLV C45, and it is going to be launched on April 1. That is decided here, and 28 other spacecraft are also on board, and these are belonging to other countries. So it is kind of a great achievement for us. And regarding PSLV, as we know that it puts all these spacecraft in a lower Earth orbits. It doesn't go far like GSLV and all, that reaches up to 35,000 kilometers. This kind of height is not achieved by PSLV, and the weight is also less for these spacecraft. These are always less than 2,500 kilograms. So that is PSLV, and these are Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, and they have come out with a new version also. Okay, and it is going to be PSLV QL. Okay, and first time it is going to put these spacecraft in 3 different orbits. So there are many firsts for ISRO this time, and it is going to be a great achievement for us, a great milestone by ISRO. There are going to be AIS automatic identification system, and ISRO payload for maritime satellite applications, and the automatic packet repeating system APRS. These are technical details, but they may be asked in UPSC prelims this time, and it is going to be very, very important. It is going to be 47th flight of PSLV. Okay, so many more articles are going to come on this particular topic. A big article is also going to come after April 1. So that time we will see the details. Next, Chinook aircraft manufactured by Boeing of America, and we have come into a list of 19 countries who are using this CS-47 Chinook choppers. It's a heavy lifter. Even it can lift this Howitzer 777 the cannon system also, and it can lift it up to 20,000 foot height. So it may work in hostile areas, and you see it is a double engine helicopter here, and it can lift up to 47 troops and even M777 ultralight howitzers. And remember, Chinook, the name is taken from a Chinook foehn wind. It's a foehn wind, and it's called snow eater in North America. So by that also you can remember this particular manufacturer, that it is coming from America, Boeing company. Next, regarding the VVPAT, we had discussed this issue, and many big articles are going to come on this issue, because Supreme Court, in a very harsh tone, it has asked Mr. Sudeep Jain, who is a Deputy Election Commissioner, when he was submitting before the Supreme Court, Mr. Ranjan Gogoi, the Chief Justice of India, he said that why you have problems in these verifications of these VVPAT machines, because right now the provisions are like that only one machine would be taken from a particular constituency, that would be checked. If it is working fine, then all other machines would not be checked. If it is not working fine, then it would be replaced, and they will leave all others as they are. So it's a problematic thing, and all these opposition parties, they went to Supreme Court and Election Commission also, and they said that this thing should be there, that at least 50% of these machines they should be verified, because some problems were found and some discrepancies were there in the pressing of the button and the kind of slip that was coming out. So that is why Supreme Court is asking that why you are hesitant to that. At first instance, you were not ready to implement the VVPAT machines, and you were only going on with EVMs. And when we posted this particular thing that VVPATs are necessary, then it was made possible by us, and now you are resistant to these particular verifications. So why you are doing that, and what is the reason that we should not check these machines? This is another issue where you can write a mains question, that symbolism and the war scale campaigning you see in some hidden ways. These are questioned by a retired IPS, that why we are wasting public money on Election Commission of India, which does not see, hear or speak. So that's a different discussion. But one thing that is apparent, that parties, they can do anything that is directly or indirectly taking them towards election campaigning and the advertisement of the a particular party, or the ways of the or particular schemes or the government or anything that can be advantageous for the parties. They are never hesitant to try these things. So this issue was there when on this particular boarding pass, the pictures were there for the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister. So this was questioned by retired IPS. So there may be some important means questions, and you can write an essay also, that what is the need of these war scale campaigning, why you people do not focus on the core issues. Try to find their additional data, and these questions are going to be very, very important, and there may be direct or indirect questions in the prelims examination this year. And 2 map questions I'm also giving, so you need to see the map for these questions. Okay, thanks a lot, keep watching. PDF will get on the Telegram channel and this particular group.